Hi, Professor Bradford. Sorry that my assignments are not showing on your end. So I'm going to show you, I'm going to do a screencast over the assignments I haven't, uh, that you're able to see, which is assignment 6 and assignment 7. Assignment 6, if I'm not mistaken, is this, oh yes, assignment 6 is the formative and summative assessment mind map. Okay, so I'm going to go here to new tab. Mind Meister. Maybe. Sorry. Okay, so here I was to create a mind map over the different forms of assessments. So here I have, you can see it all. I have formative, summative, interim, benchmark, performance, and diagnostic. Interim, sorry. So we had to put definitions for each one and two sets of examples for each one. So my formative, the definition is methods used to conduct and process evaluations of student comprehension, learning needs, and academic progress over the lesson/unit. My two examples were homework and reflection journals. We do a lot of reflection journals actually in my placement. Summative is the next one. The definition is evaluate students' learning at the end of instructional unit by comparing it against a standard or benchmark. So our examples are midterm exams and state assessments. The interim benchmark, sorry. Definition is used to evaluate where students are in their learning progress and to determine whether they're on track to performing well on their other assessments like standardized tests or end of course exams. So, for example, I have quizzes, classroom quizzes, and chapter tests. Another assessment is performance. Definition requires students to perform a task rather than select an answer from a ready-made list. Two examples, presentations and projects. I also have diagnostic assessments. Definition, it's a form of pre-assessment that allows the teachers to determine students' individual strengths, weaknesses, knowledge, and skills prior to the instruction used to guide the lessons and curriculum planning. Two examples, pre and post assessments and discussion board responses. The hot questions that we were to provide. Opening questions, guided questions, and closing questions. So one of my opening questions is, what is the difference between push and pull? For example, what is the difference between push and pull? That way they can kind of get thinking, okay, what does push mean? What does pull mean? Number two, what causes a change in motion? What does cause a change in motion? So that, again, it just gets them thinking and ready to continue. Guided questions. I have, what can you infer about its motion if an object with wheels goes down a steep hill? Again, guided questions, kind of guiding you to where you want them, like the next step where you want them to go. Number two, what can you infer if an object has moved? What has changed? My closing questions I have, how can you describe Newton's third law of motion? So closing question is like the overall, once they've completed the unit or lesson, then they can go back and answer these questions because it's something that they just learned. So how can you describe Newton's third law of motion? Number two, what can you create to gain speed and motion for a flat object? Okay, so that was assignment 6, the MindMaster. My Google form open. All right, this one I actually opened it up over here. This was when I was in the placement with my 4th graders. Okay, so right here I posted a new assignment, assessment 1. So these are all the students who completed the assessment. So I can go through and read you the questions, that way you know. Okay, so my placement was math. It was math, social studies, and science. So we worked pretty hard on math, and so this is the assessment I had for them when we were doing the unit of perimeter. Okay. So if one side of the square is 4 inches, what is the perimeter? If given the length of a rectangle in 3 centimeters and the width is 5 centimeters, what would be the formula to find the area of the rectangle? So we were reviewing perimeter and then we went into area. We also did time elapse. So the movie started at 6:30 p.m. If the movie lasted 2 hours and 36 minutes, what time did it end? We also did capacity. So Jan bought juices for her party. She bought 2 quarts of apple juice, 1 quart of grape juice, and 3 quarts of orange juice. How many gallons of juice did she have? Which line segments are perpendicular? We also learned perpendicular the angles. So line segments. Perpendicular, parallel, intersecting. Um, Again, time elapsed. Jeff goes to work from 7:45 a.m. to 3:10 p.m. How long does Jeff work? Which choice best represents the height of a glue stick? So they had to determine which one. Julian ran 350 yards on Monday. On Tuesday, he ran 234 yards. What is the difference in feet between the days he ran? So they had to convert. We also did conversion. So they had to convert yards to feet and then find the difference. So it's a little bit more challenging rather than just the simple what is a perimeter. A rectangle has a length of 6 inches and a width of 4 inches. What is the area? Jill makes 3 gallons of lemonade. How many quarts of lemonade did she make? So that was for assignment 6. And assignment 7. Sorry, I'm trying to go quick so it doesn't take too long. Assignment 7 was analyze data from Google Forms assessment and create a heat map in Google Sheets. Okay, so I have my heat map already pulled up. Here's my heat map. So this is the email addresses of all of my students that took the assessment, what they scored, and then if they exceed or if they meet. Again, here's all the questions that were provided throughout the assessment. So you see those who got them right. This one, the majority got them right except one. This one as well, so that's good. Let's go through. Okay, so there's my heat map. And the Google Form assessment, where is it? Okay, Google Doc. Okay, so it is this. So here is where my data questions of what percentage students were successful. So I had 70.6% that were successful. Let me see which students were not successful, and I just put initials of which ones were not as successful as we would have liked for them to be. What needs to be done to move those individuals not successful to success. I'm sorry. For the individuals that were not successful for this assignment, I would check back at their IEP to make sure I did not surpass the plan for the child's educational needs. I would do a small group instruction and offer after-school tutoring, especially since we will continue to use conversions and elapsed time for the unit assessment. From previous lessons, some of these individuals just need a bit more guidance to become successful. Does data indicate that class reteaching is needed? According to my data for this assignment, the whole class does not need reteaching. I would more than likely pull these kids that were not successful to a small group and reteach. I would have them use their formula chart to find the correct formulas for perimeter and area for a conversion problem. I'd have them write their conversion before solving their problem. For example, 1 gallon equals 2 quarts. That way they know where they begin. We did that several times after they took this assessment. What intervention strategies have been tried? Those students who are on a tier 2 are receiving extra help going over conversions. and guiding them step by step. Those who are on Tier 3 are being pulled out and going on RTI during the actual lesson. Therefore, they are not picking up all the strategies that are going over for these problems. What interventions need to be implemented? Excuse me. The students who are on Tier 2 will focus on the conversions. We will play a game that includes their whiteboard with an expo marker. I will provide the problems, and they are to write the conversion formula they will use. So like I said earlier, 1 gallon equals 4 quarts. So if I said, how many quarts are in 5 gallons? So they would first write 1 gallon equals 4 quarts. So that would be the first step that would go over and over and over. That way they know, okay, which one do I need to look for? And this is the one I'm going to use to solve my problem. Let's see. We will not solve the problem just yet. We will also focus on strategies of word problems, such as underlining the question and boxing keywords and numbers. We will then move forward and play Kahoot on the iPads. They will be solving the conversion problems as well as the time-elapse problems. My Tier 3 students will receive tutoring after school. I will reteach the whole lesson to them. We will watch the metric system video as well as the video over the Kingdom of Gallon on the Avery board. We will discuss the strategies that we can use to solve these problems, such as input-output tables, our big letter G that contains our quarts, pints, cups, and ounces. I will reflect back to our journal and review our notes that will also help with these problems. Then pull them one by one to assist them in anything they're still not comprehending. While I pull out a student, the others will be working on iExcel on the iPads over the specific TEKS we're learning in that class. So that was the assignment 7. And I believe that is all of the ones that I needed to do, just assignment 6 and 7. And I will get the self-evaluation turned into you also. So that's it. Thank you, Professor Bradford. Have a good evening.